In 8.6b, it's more on multiplying polynomials, but we're going to be seeing these multiplying within equations and then having to solve equations. So I'm going to page 446, number 10, where the directions will just say solve the equation. So the first equation is -2, and then parentheses, w plus 1 plus w equals 7 minus 4w. So you see there are going to be variables on both sides of the equation. We see parentheses, so that will always be the first thing to distribute. So I'm distributing the -2 to just what's in the parentheses. -2w minus 2. Then I have plus w equals 7 minus 4w. On the left side of the equation, I see -2w plus w. So since those are on the same side of the equation, I'm going to combine those like terms. -2w plus w is -1w. So I have -1w minus 2 equals 7 minus 4w. Now I want to get my w's on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to take this -1w and I'm going to add 1w to both sides of the equation. And then I end up with -2 equals 7 minus 3w. Now I need to get my 7 over to the left. So I'm trying to solve for w and get w alone. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 7. And then I have -9 equals -3w. Being really careful not to lose that -3. I'm just going to rewrite this last part. -9 equals -3w. Divide both sides by -3. And my answer is -9 divided by -3 is a positive 3. So your answer is always going to be the variable equals something. In this case, just w equals 3. My next example is the same page, number 11. I'm going to do x times x plus 2 minus 3x equals x times x minus 4, and then outside of the parentheses plus 5. So you should be able to now do this equation on your own, so you can go ahead and try it. In order to do it, again, I am distributing. I'm doing x times x, which is x squared. So again, you got to be really careful that you know when you're multiplying or when you're adding. So I'm doing x times x, which means I'm adding the exponents, getting x squared. If I was doing x plus x, then I would have 2x. So you're always going to stop yourself and think, am I multiplying or am I adding or subtracting? So that's x squared plus 2x minus 3x. Now I'm going to distribute on the right-hand side. Equals x squared minus 4x plus 5. So I have x squared on both sides of the equation. And I'm just going to subtract x squared from both sides. And when I do that, I'll get 0 on both sides for that part. So the x squared part just cancels out. Then I end up with 2x minus 3x equals -4x, being careful not to lose that negative, plus 5. Now I'm going to combine like terms on the left side of the equation. 2x minus 3x is -1x equals -4x plus 5. I need to get my x's on the same side, so I'm going to add 4x to both sides. That gives me 3x equals 5. And you're not done with it yet. It doesn't come out to be a whole number, but that's okay. I'm just going to divide both sides by 3, and my answer is x equals 5 over 3. And it's perfectly fine to leave it as an improper fraction, just like that. Okay, I'm doing example 4 on page 445. And there's nothing different about it, it's just a longer problem, and you just have to be careful that you don't make mistakes. Y times y minus 12 plus y times y plus 2 plus 25 equals 2y times y plus 5 minus 15. So you're going to go ahead and distribute every time you see parentheses. So that will give me y squared minus 12y plus y squared plus 2y plus 25 equals 2y squared plus 10y minus 15. Now we have to combine like terms. So we have y squared plus y squared. That's 1y squared plus 1y squared. And we're adding, so that gives me 2y squared. Then I have negative 12y plus 2y. That gives me negative 10y. Then plus 25 equals 2y squared. There's nothing to combine on the right side, no like terms. Now I want to subtract out the 2y squared from both sides. So fortunately that cancels from both sides, giving 0 for both of those. I end up with 10y squared plus 25 equals negative 10y squared, I'm sorry, plus 25 equals 10y minus 15. So I have to get my y squared terms on, my y terms on the same side. I'm going to add 10y to both sides. That gives me 25 equals 20y minus 15. Then I have to add 15 to both sides, and I get 40 equals 20y. Divide both sides by 20, and y equals